Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be 4th of July dessert ideas. I'm going to share with you 5 ideas. I'm honestly, these were a test run to see what everybody liked the most, to see what I should actually make for the 4th. And I'm starting with baking some chocolate chip cookies because I wanted to make red, white, and blue ice cream sandwiches, and the chocolate chip cookie is supposed to be the white, and of course you could do this with sugar cookies as well, and I thought about that, but the kids love chocolate chip cookies, so I figured, I'll try it with chocolate chip, see what they think. But I wanted to get that baking first, or get those out first, and of course you can make your own homemade if you want. I just had the box, so I used that. And then I'm working on some American flag s'mores dip. You just layer some Hershey's chocolate bars in the bottom of a 9x13. I sprayed mine just to be safe because you never know. It does take 6 bars, or at least for the size of my pan, and honestly, there were 3 pieces I could have eaten, but I just decided, I'm going to put them in the pan anyway. Then it gets interesting on how to do the marshmallows, because I'm thinking, you know what, I'm just going to start with the blue and place that, but you'll see that in, well, I guess a few seconds. So to do this, you need some blue and red sanding sugar. Like I said, I wanted to start with the blue because I wanted to do that square up in the top corner before I went on to anything else. So I finally got it to do this, and it took me more than 1 bag of marshmallows to do this. So just a warning that if you really want to make this, buy 2 bags of marshmallows like I did. But I'm starting with rolling a marshmallow in blue, I'm starting with rolling a marshmallow in water and then rolling it in the blue sugar so it actually sticks. And while I was working on that, I ended up putting my chocolate chip cookies in the oven. And I did finally realize, use one hand for the water and one hand for the sanding sugar. Of course, you can put these on a skewer if you would like. I didn't see the point in that. But I did 3 rows of 4 blue marshmallows, and then I started coating marshmallows in red and doing the stripes. And for the white ones, you just leave them white. You don't roll them in sanding sugar or anything. And then you bake this at 350 degrees. I've seen some where they bake it so long that the white marshmallows turn brown. I did not want to do that. I just wanted to put it in the oven and bake it long enough for everything to melt. So about 15 minutes in my oven, because we've been having some issues with the oven lately, and the temperature's never good. And then I got some of the red, white, and blue M&Ms, and I stirred that in to the mixture instead of chocolate chips. And then I rolled them into balls and placed more M&Ms on top. Okay, so after this dip came out of the oven, I wanted to let it cool off a little bit, but then I wanted to try it on camera to see if it actually worked the way I was thinking, and it did. It does taste like a s'more, kind of expected. And then after I ate a little bit of that, I decided, you know what, I need to get back to work. So I'm coloring some sugar cookie dough. I had the sugar cookie dough in the freezer for a while, and there's nothing wrong with it. I do that all the time where I make cookie dough and just kind of store it away for the next time I want to make cookies. But I let it thaw out, and I mixed some blue food coloring into one roll of it, and then I mixed some red food coloring into the other roll. And I saw this with bagged or boxed sugar cookie mix, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you do, if that's what you use, and that's what you like, go right ahead. But I always like to use my homemade stuff when I can. I just prefer homemade cookies over the box and the bag mixes. And you will see where I use, like, I do use that stuff on occasion, but for the most part, I like to use my homemade. And then after I got the colors mixed in, I did let it set to see how dark it got to make sure it did get to the shade that I wanted it. Okay, so after mixing it and getting it to the shade I wanted for both of them, I started rolling them into balls. I did a piece of red and a piece of blue, just rolled them into a ball and baked them together. The recipe, the idea I saw, bake them separate. They rolled each color separately into balls and baked them separate. And there's nothing wrong with that, and you could do that. But I wanted to put them together. That way, when they were done, I had red, white, and blue all in the same cookie. And you'll see where the white comes in a minute, because the cookie bakes and it's just red and blue, obviously. Okay, so while those cookies were baking, I did want to finish off my ice cream sandwiches. The chocolate chip cookies had cooled enough for me to be able to do this, so I got some vanilla ice cream out, let it melt, just enough to do this, and I rolled it in some sprinkles, of course, red, white, and blue sprinkles. But you could just do red and have your red, white, and blue. And the sprinkles didn't necessarily stick that well. So I think if I do these for the 4th of July, what I'm going to do is put some ice cream in a dish and smooth it out, and then cut it with a cookie cutter when it's frozen. So it's the actual shape that I need it to be for the cookie, and then I can roll it easier. But I'm still waiting for everyone's vote to come in on what we should make, so still not sure if I'm actually making these for the 4th or if I'm making something else. And yes, all of these got eaten. My grandpa's birthday was the day that I filmed this video, so some of the stuff went to his house, and others just kind of stuck around here. And yeah, it's just, don't worry, when I film these videos, I get some specific questions on some stuff that I eat, and yes, it does. Okay, so to finish off these cookies, to add in the white to the white and to the red and blue, I got these heart marshmallows, or the heart, star marshmallows from Walmart, and I just pressed those into cookies. You can, and then you have to do this as soon as they come out of the oven, or the cookie cools too much and it doesn't work. I thought about, and I will say this, I should have done what the lady said in the video that I saw originally, and cut these marshmallows in half, because we were actually eating these cookies. That giant marshmallow is hilarious. So yeah, if you do these, cut the marshmallows in half. Okay, so the final recipe is a healthier dessert. It's a red, white, and blue fruit skewer. For the red, I'm using watermelon. The blue is blueberries. But I did want to show what I'm doing, because I did take a star cookie cutter and cut a piece of watermelon into the shape of a star. I did only make one for this video. Well, I showed me making one for the video, but I ended up making more later on when I went and got the other half of the watermelon. But I did have to trim it down, so use a thinner piece of watermelon than I did, or get a bigger cookie cutter. But I couldn't find my metal star cutter, so I had to use my plastic. But it worked. But I did this big ol' red star at the bottom. Then I put some blueberries on a skewer, and then I put one of those white starred marshmallows on the top of the skewer, and it ended up being really cute. And it's healthier, but you still get your little sweet treat. And I might make these anyway, just to have a fruit option, and do another one of these desserts as well. Either way, it turned out really cute, and all this stuff ended up being eaten, or will be eaten. It's not all gone by the time of editing this, but we're working on it. But I did want to show like my plate of like these goofy little snacks that I had this night. And yes, you do need to freeze your ice cream sandwiches when you're done with them, just to make sure they set up. That was my plate when we were sampling everything, and that's going to be it for this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, hit the red subscribe button down below. Thank you for watching. I will see you Friday for my next video. Bye bye.